What's up, guys? Barry Game here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to be talking about a minor side game mode of Fantasy Arcade that is important for those of you guys who are either free to play or low spenders. It's a great place to get a ton of really good resources. Heck, it's an easy place to get your first pay-to-win artifact like a golden crown from this game mode. However, there's two different ways you can play this. Number one, what we're going to talk about here today is what I will say is the normal way of playing through these game modes. Number two, the kind of cheating way. We're going to go over that in the next couple days. We'll make a guide on how to use BlueStacks on your PC. There's a link in the description how to download that, and a way to set up a special macro that pretty much lets you cheat through every single difficulty in Fort Defense. We're not talking about Flora's Craft Workshop. That's pretty straightforward, but there are some tips and tricks talking about Fort Defense, and that's what we're going to talk about here today. Especially for those who are playing the free-to-play account, you're going to get like 1,000,000 Stellar Shards plus just from doing this game mode. Tons of gems, heroic scrolls, prophet orbs, glorious flag selection chest, and of course the mysterious artifact selection chest. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 90,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for the support so far. Let's get going. All right, so one of the big things to talk about is the amount of resources you can get as a free-to-play player, especially in the early game, from Fort Defense. Of course, going through all these different difficulties will net you tons of gems. Depending on the difficulty that you're clearing, they give you these fun material selection chests from Fantasy Arcade, which of course have Stellar Shards. They should be used pretty much exclusively for Stellar Shards to help power up your first couple of heroes. And as you guys can see, there's 10 difficulties in each one of these chapters. One of the biggest bonuses to this is the fact that they have added a power system. Once you get past the first couple I think it might actually just be the first one where it's the old version of this game. Once you get to the newer ones, you jump into these battles and stuff, and you'll notice you get these power-ups. Power-ups are absolutely amazing and one of the easiest ways to clear the content. Really, if you follow a couple simple rules here or guidelines, you're going to clear everything in the normal game mode very easily. Now, there's one thing a lot of people don't realize when they're looking at these. Going for damaging abilities, not necessarily like Healing Totem or that defensive shout buff, those aren't really great. You want to go for damaging ones, and what you want to do is you want to stack different elements to optimize everything. Optimally, you want a lightning spell, a fire spell, a cold/wind spell, and of course a poison one, which is the snakes or the twine. Because these things have special effects. When you have a flame and thunder effect hitting a target at the same time, you get bonus things that happen. Inflict strong strike. So this one, a flame thunder, gives a ton of extra damage. If you do ice and thunder, it silences the enemy, which really helps on the dominator bosses or the healing priest boss, because it makes it so they can't cast their big AoE hits. If you have lightning, thunder, and venom, it means their target's armor is reduced significantly. We can show you a couple other ones here. Fire and ice inflicts a dot for a short duration. Fire and thunder, we just talked about, inflicts a strong hit. Flame and venom, this one is really good because what it does is it stuns the target for a long period of time. So making sure you're using these skills in tandem with each other on specific targets will create some really amazing effects. It's something I didn't even realize. There's also another little cool trick you can do here. So I'm just gonna grab a couple of these here because we want to try to synergize them. Viper Guard is probably one of the strongest abilities to have out there. Venomous Vines is cool too because it does by itself just stun the target. Viper Guard, though, is one of the highest damaging capabilities in the game. You want to try to unlock as many of these combos as possible, and as you guys can see, I'm grabbing like a little of everything here, and then you come to the stage of what to upgrade first. The plan here is you're going to upgrade mages first before anything else. You want to take them as high as possible so that you can unlock your Fairy Queen Vesa. Getting that unlocked is good. After that, what you're going to do is you're going to upgrade your warriors until you get Asmodel. Once you get both of them, you're just going to finish leveling mages up further. So as you guys can see, I'm going to just throw a couple tanky units out here for the time being. I'm going to show you guys why these abilities are so strong. The snakes are awesome because you can place them anywhere and they last a long time. But if you do take these abilities like this, it twines them, it does stun them, which is really awesome. But the main part is you can then combo everything on a certain group of targets, and look at the damage. It just starts to melt the enemies apart, especially elites and bosses. So that is something you really want to prioritize. Now typically when we start a battle, I usually go heavily into our mages, priests, whatever you want to call them. Don't summon more than 7 of them, because you want to leave one place open to get your fairy queen Vesa eventually. She does provide some healing, some buffs to your units, things like that. So make sure you do that and don't fill up that 8th spot. If you fill up all 8 spots with the priest slash mages, it makes it hard to summon her out, because then you have to sacrifice and let your heroes kind of get destroyed, and then finally you can summon them once one of your mages does die. Now you can do upgrades like this. I usually recommend that you don't unless you're really close to a level before a boss. But one thing to note is when you have your heroes here, you can actually drag and drop them anywhere on the battlefield in this green little box. It's something I didn't know for a long time, but you can put them anywhere in the green box, which is a huge benefit. Gonna get him too, and then of course, like you see, we have Asmodel and her. You upgrade it. Now remember, this is for regular game mode. This is not for the trial. The trial, you'll eventually level up the archer to unlock your sword flash, just so you can have one of them on the battlefield. But this is pretty much what you're looking to do. And of course, when you get this done and you get certain waves cleared out, you'll get resources. Even like you saw right there, even if you are done, you finish all your fort chapters 1 and 2, and you just want some additional gold resources, you can farm that every single day, because you get 10 of these coins every single day. So getting through these game modes, pretty simple. You're going to go through your fort tech, slowly upgrade it. One recommendation is just avoid and don't go for any of the durability fort things. You shouldn't have your fort getting touched at all. Don't go for the repair ones. Don't go for the ones that increase the initial fort durability. They're just not really useful. The only one that does seem useful is this one down here. +1 initial fort level. That's going to let you guys start with additional tech cards and bonuses. So make sure you get that one. The rest of them are not really worthwhile. The only other one that's not worthwhile, in my opinion, is the archer recruit. You shouldn't really be recruiting any archers. Your whole team is going to be your mages and warriors with the transcendence heroes mixed in. So just keep that in mind. That's important. One thing also to note is that you can upgrade the quality of these based on having the actual transcendence hero on your account and how far they are upgraded on your account. By default, all of them are unlocked at 1 star, but if you do build a Fairy Queen Vesta on your account and an Asmodel Dauntless to the max, they will be more powerful. So that is something that you might notice is different between each of you. Now, the last thing to talk about is the trial game mode. This is the one where you're going to get the most of these fantasy stars. That's going to be one of the most important things, and you're going to get a ton of these chests. You can see here on our free-to-play account, we crashed at about wave like 71 or 72. That is something you're going to have to be prepared for. It crashes quite a bit, so you just need to make sure you're prepared. It does suck. If you do crash something like this, you are most likely going to want to start over from scratch, because there's one strategy you need to do in Fort Trial, and I'm going to show it to you guys right now. So we're going to jump into it. Like, this is going to bring you to wave 70. This is really, really bad unless you're using the cheat method, which we'll talk about in the future. It does basically require a PC and BlueStacks. So if you're only doing it on phone, it's going to be really difficult. Starting here is going to have one major disadvantage, and that is the fact that I did not mean to go into that. Whoops. I guess I have to select these real quick. So we're going to exit out of this. That's a big mistake because you do lose some stuff. But in trial mode here, what you need to do is you need to summon a ridiculous amount of Fairy Queen Vestas. An absolute ton. So many. Why is that? Holy Incarnation, passive skill, increases all allies attack each time Vesta is recruited. So in the game mode, there's 3 lanes. The big main one, the bottom one, and the top one. The top lane, you should be summoning Fairy Queen Vesta over and over and over. Why? Because every time she dies and you get to resummon her, you increase all your heroes' attacks. Now, really need to protect your Sword Flash Shia and your mages slash priests in the back line, because this is a stacking buff. If they die, they lose it. New hero comes in, they don't have that buff. This is how your heroes will start doing 5 and even 6,000 damage per hit, and that's one of the only ways you can get through this game mode that just has like a scaling system of the power that they have. So keep that in mind. We'll have a little bit more information. If you guys want to come by Twitch, we actually have a VOD over there that has an entire run up to 70, so you guys can see that. Fort Trial 2 is pretty much the same thing, cut and paste. It's going to be the same thing, except you have to beat level 100 here to unlock it. And why is this important? Well, the stars that you get from this game mode are going to unlock the vending machine. You can see we're already up to 102. We just unlocked a couple cool things, one of them being a free Glorious Selection flag chest, which is really cool. The ultimate goal, though, is getting to level 50 in the second version, because you're getting all these rewards, and most importantly, 150, you are getting this artifact selection chest that has all the way up to the gilded purple fan. Golden Crown is a perfect selection for your first one. That is why getting to this, especially early game on a free-to-play like we are right here, you guys can see we're 100% free-to-play on this account. We're already at 102 stars, and without even touching Flora's Craft Workshop, we're already in a really good spot. So hopefully that gives you guys some good advice here. We will be going more into detail in trial mode in the future, but if you guys ever wondered what's going on, what's up with this game mode, there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Leave your comments down below. I'll try to answer them and give you guys some advice as we learn even more about this game mode. And I'll see you guys next time.